Welcome inside episode 446 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, alongside Brandon Pillar up in the Blue Mountains.
And Ross, the Ottawa Senators are still on a win streak. 2 straight games with the W, and they're looking to make it 3 tonight up against the New Jersey Devils. The Belleville Senators, however, not such a great weekend as they get caught up in the Moose tracks. 2 straight losses to the Manitoba Moose.
We will let you know how Matt Murray fared in his return to AHL action. The Senators' morning skate will begin in about 15 minutes from our recording. So any lineup changes will pass along. And yes, obviously, we're going to break down a 6-5 overtime victory. And you mentioned it, Pilsy. There's no hotter team in the NHL than the Ottawa Senators since December 3rd. Short sample size, sure, but it's the first win streak of the season. This is the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Today is Monday, December 6th, and Pilsy, this is not a dream. The Senators were scored on first, but won the game.
This is wild. We are living in an alternate reality here, Ross. Not only are we talking about a Senators win, or even 2 Senators wins, but 2 wins back-to-back is incredible for this team. And well, hey, they've got their work cut out for them, though, with the New Jersey Devils tonight. That's a team that's done much better than expectations. And then on the flip side of that, tomorrow, an Islanders team that has done much worse than expectations. So it's going to be an interesting time here up against 2 New York teams.
Yes, but beating 2 cup contenders is a great place to start. And I want to get into this Colorado game right away because I mentioned they were scored on first. It was
Darren Helm with a beauty. I forgot that guy was still playing.
Yes, and unlike when they scored first in Carolina, although the shots were 20-4 after the first period, this game against Colorado was actually pretty well played if you're an Ottawa Senator, right? This was not a situation where they were chasing the game. They had a 5-2 lead at one point. But how did you like their reaction once they gave up the first goal? Because in those situations, this year so far, Pilsy, you've got the Senators with 1 win in 13 games when allowing the first goal, and Colorado was 9-0-1 when they scored first.
Yeah, so it's really crazy that the Sens won this game and in the fashion that they did win it. But, you know, I kind of chalk all this up to the big guns stepping up and playing their part, right? Like Brady Tkachuk, captain the team, he ties it off a nice assist from Tim Stützle. And where did Stützle get the puck? Chabot. That's a Brady Tkachuk goal from Stützle and Thomas Chabot. That's how you want the score sheet to look there to start the game off. And it was a beauty shot by Tkachuk too, which we don't see too many of his goals, just nice, sweet wrist shots beating the goalie. Usually it's a garbage goal or a tough play or something like that. So it's great for Brady to be able to score those goals, and that gets things tied up. And then speaking of guys scoring goals in ways that we're not usually used to or at all, Austin Watson and the fourth line finally chip in. We see a sliver of offense from Dylan Gambrell, and it was a great pass at a right time, and good on Waddy for potting that one in.
Is there a better feeling as a sports fan than cheering on the announcement of your team's goal at home and then scoring again, especially when it's the fourth line that gets the second one, although DJ said don't call them the fourth line. But good on Austin Watson because he hadn't exactly came out flying this season. I think I think he'd say the same thing. Of course, with an injury and COVID in between there's certainly reasons for it, but it was great pass, great goal. And that put Ottawa on a path to success because the streak can continue from there. I was just trying to look up while you were talking there. The Senators have not made a goalie pulled. That's brutal English. The Sens have not scored enough to chase a goalie at all this season. Wow. So that was the first time they did it last night. And not that they were going up against a Vezina caliber goalie or anything. You got to see a guy make his NHL debut in Justus Antonin in the second half of that. But for confidence level for this team, that's what I'm taking from this game most, is that you went in and you beat a legitimate contender. The haters will say that Kadri was out of the lineup, who dominated Ottawa in that game a couple weeks ago. Sure, McKinnon replaced him, who didn't play in that game, but then Cale Makar, a late scratch as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a sigh of relief when you get a guy who's a Sens killer in Kadri, and then arguably one of the greatest defensemen in the world right now in Cale Makar, also off the lineup, and you get to go up against the third and fourth string goaltender. So was there a bit of luck? Absolutely, but we're not going to apologize for taking advantage of that. And the Senators, it's not like they steamrolled this team, even with those major players out for Colorado. It was still a battle here. And that's what I wanted to see too, Ross, is I want to see games where they face adversity and they overcome it, right? Not here's the adversity and it's going to wash right over this team. And here comes another L up on the dinner plate here. So I'm just glad that finally the Sens were able to get out to a good lead, score a bunch of goals, have it crumble in front of their eyes like we've seen before, but not let that be the storyline here. The storyline is the Senators get their second win off the back of Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle. And that's what we needed to see more of this season. And that's how the Sens are going to win these games. Like, it's not going to be the Tyler Ennis's and the Nick Holdens that raise this team to victory. It's got to be your Tim Stützles, your Thomas Chabot's, and your Brady Tkachuks that do it.
I love seeing that on the score sheet. Let's not pass over the fact that Josh Norris became the first Senator to reach double-digit goals this year. He gets his 10th. He's quietly on pace for a 37-goal season. Not bad at all, right? So he opens the scoring in the second period. Again, guess who get the assist? Tkachuk and Chabot. And then Timmy on the power play. I guess this would be a great place to start when it comes to how did that count?
Yes, that was that goal was very, very interesting. And that's one of those situations where when it happened too, Ross, like the ref didn't really call a play. He just kind of put his hands up and is like, okay, it's a dead play. Like we don't know what to call this. So that was very strange to see. And thank goodness that the hockey gods tilted that call in the Sens' favor, because I feel like that could have gone either way there.
Yeah. So that actually made it 3-2 Ottawa. I was looking at Stützle's power play goal that we'll get to. Sick pass from Drake Batherson on that one. But the change, not only in the hockey gods for allowing that goal, but for the Senators to be the team scoring in the first 2 minutes of a period. Because coming out of the first tied at 2, that was huge to get the confidence level going, not only for number 18, but the team as a whole. So I guess DJ Smith had watched video, been watching the Leaf games, and credit to the Sens coaches. I think they're 4 for 5 this year on challenges, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. They definitely nailed 2 in a row, one against Carolina, and then last night, not only on this play, but then challenging and determining that the play was offside in the third period, the initial goal that would have tied it. So I just love what that did for the confidence of this group. And then, all right, you take it from here. Timmy's second of the goal, just patience personified.
And this is what I was talking about with Tim Stützle, Ross. Remember a couple episodes ago, I was saying, let's get Stützle back to an opportunity and a mind frame where he's confident using that shot. Because I watched that play a couple times, Ross, and I was going to say the old Tim Stützle, but Tim Stützle of 2 weeks ago. Let's rewind it back that far.
Back when he was young.
Yeah, back when he was just a young grasshopper 2 weeks ago. On that play, I watched it a couple times, and what Tim Stützle would have done on that play is force that puck to Brady backdoor. And it's not a bad play because
he even said post game, he's like, I almost tried to hit Chucky backdoor. It's like, no.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And Tkachuk was open backdoor, but he would have had to force that pass through a diving defenseman, which probably gets broken up and then maybe even cleared after that because it's a loose puck. So instead, he sees Tkachuk there. In his mind, he does his quick decision thinking and says, okay, I'm not going to pass it to Tkachuk. I'm going to hold on this. This defenseman is playing aggressive. He's trying to block the pass lane. I can outweight him. I'll toe drag back a little bit and then fire it home. And that's what he does. And we need to see Tim Stützle have that confidence. We can't have him being like, oh, Brady's open. I better get him the puck. Otherwise, I'm going to be in big trouble after the game for missing that opportunity. No, you're one of the game breakers, Tim. You need to be the guy where people are regretting not getting you the puck and not getting you the opportunities because you're the big ticket here. You're the most talented offensive player on this team. Like, you have the most skill. Sure, you got a long way to go in development and cleaning up your all-around game. There's guys like Batherson, Norris, Kachuk that are ahead of you in that sense. But just pure offensive skill and what you can do with the puck on the stick, it's unmatched on this team, if you ask me. So for Tim to have the confidence to keep that puck on his stick and wire it was great. And I don't know how much they knew about this new goalie. I can't even remember his name. Pardon me on that. But they clearly had some game notes on him, because a couple of the goals were in that same spot. Like, Brady's OT winner was in the same spot as Stutzle's goal. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was the first goal scored on the new goalie, right? Or was Johansson still in the net at that point?
No, it was Antonin. It was Antonin. He got pulled after the Norris goal.
Both of those goals were at the same spot. So clearly the guys are talking on the bench being like, that's a weak spot for this goalie. Let's take advantage of that. So that goal just made me so happy to see, because that's what we need to see more of.
It's his third career 3-point game. He had the hat trick last year against Winnipeg. There was another game he had a goal and 2 helpers. So it's his first 2-goal, 1-assist game. Actually, that's his first 2-goal game in his NHL career. He had the 1 hat trick and then all singles from there. So let's see if this, I know we've said it before, but let's see if this is what catapults Tim Stützle into the stratosphere that his underlying numbers are showing he's about to enter. But right now, it's about continuing momentum in our show as well. We also have to get into the Pierre Dorion press conference. It's caused a bit of a stir among certain media members, but can't leave a game unfinished. Before we hit the ad, Pilsy, that OT winner. Okay, so the Sens choke it out. That's still a part of their game that needs cleaning up. They did the same against Carolina. So it gets to OT. And how many ounces do you think the steak's going to be that Shabbat is going to have to buy Brady? Because that turnover almost led to a McKinnon chance the other way, but Brady got his stick on it. And he was gone.
And that's who was the starting lineup for OT for the Sens in that one, Ross? Because remember we had the discussion about not having Brady being on the first line, because wasn't Brady a part of that second line that he changed?
No, he started OT.
So that was a long shift then.
It was a long shift. I do believe. I'm going to double check that while you're giving the synopsis on the goal.
Yeah, because I thought that he changed on that OT, so we had fresh legs, and then
he might have, because he was humming.
That's what I mean. Like, we don't see Brady Tkachuk going that fast at the end of a long shift. So maybe I saw that, but if that's the case, then that's perfect, because we talk about we don't really want Brady being the first guy on the ice in OT, because you want a little more speed. Do you have the answer here?
He started overtime. He was 51 seconds into his shift when the puck went in the net.
Okay, so that's just captain shit and finding a way to reach down and get some more energy and adrenaline. Yep. And he was gone. Like, the defensemen, they didn't have a chance in catching him there. And then he pots that goal, same spot as Timmy beat that goalie. So those are the kind of things where I feel like the old Senators, like Brady, would have just shot that into his chest and been like, crap, it was a good opportunity, but we can't finish here. We can't do it. No, screw that. Like, this is a team now where Brady Tkachuk's like, all right, McKinnon turnover in OT. I'm taking it the other way. We're at home. There's actually a decent crowd at the CTC for once, 14,000, which I mean isn't great, but considering the average there is a pretty good crowd. I'm coming back in OT. It's a 5-5 game, and I'm going to score on a breakaway, and this crowd is going to lose their minds. And that's what happened. They need more moments like that.
The Ottawa Senators have 5 players who have more overtime game winners than Brady Tkachuk. Quick trivia. Can you name those 5 Ottawa Senators? More OT goals than Brady Tkachuk. Pilsy, I'm going to let you think about that while I tell us about our friends at Indeed. Thanks to the great resignation, the job market is filled with once-in-a-generation talent. So how is your organization going to put that all together to make an all-star team? Your front office needs an all-star roster. You need Indeed. Indeed is a hiring partner that gets you what you really want. A short list of quality candidates as fast as possible, because you can do it all. Attract, interview, and hire all at Indeed. Don't struggle on your own to find quality candidates. Indeed can help you hire the right people right now. Indeed partners with you on every step of the hiring process so you can find talent with the skills you need. through tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessment, and virtual interviews. With Indeed Instant Match, over 90% of employers get quality candidates as soon as they sponsor their job post, according to Indeed data. Candidates you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than only those who see it in search. So get started right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/lockedon. Get a $75 credit at Indeed.com/lockedon. Indeed.com/lockedon. Offer valid through December 31st. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
And Ross, if you need to watch TV, whether it's your favorite shows, your favorite movies, or your favorite NHL hockey team in the Ottawa Senators, then you need to check out DirecTV Stream. Because, look, in today's age, there's so many logins, there's so many passwords. You're sitting there being like, does this password need a number and a capital letter? Which kid name did I use for this? Which Ottawa Senator former player is in my password this time? And you can't remember, and it's all just a big mess. Get rid of that. Get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. It brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before. So you can watch all your favorite sports. You got the movies for the kids, favorite TV shows for your partner. Everything is all in one convenient place. No more juggling remotes. No need to buy another device ever again. And the best part is there's no annual contract. So you're not stuck if you don't feel like you have the right program here. So get rid of the clutter, get rid of the confusion, and get your TV back together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Contents vary by package. Check it out today, guys. DirecTV Stream at directtv.com.
Make sure you're locked on Senators wherever you download your podcast. You can also check out the video version on YouTube. That's where we've been live streaming our postcast after each and every Sens game. A quick 10 to 12 minute hard-hitting post-game analysis. Pilsy, how have you been enjoying those?
I love the postcasts, and hey, we've started doing them, and the Sens have started stringing together some wins. So I think we're going to keep doing them as long as the fans love them. The chat has been great. We've had about 50 people each time hopping on and viewing. So if you guys like it, it's something we're going to keep doing.
Yes, no limits on the capacity either. So come on down, join us after each and every Senators game. The next one will be tonight. But also, if you miss it live, you can find it on YouTube, or we're going to post the audio version wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, so the Senators are in action tonight. Pierre Dorion spoke to the media, something that the fans and media have been asking for. We'll let you know how that went. But the trivia question I left you with, which Ottawa Senators, there's 5 of them, have more regular season overtime game-winning goals than Brady Tkachuk? I will tell you, Pilsy, the number 1 has 7. So Brady needs 3 more to tie that.
I'm usually terrible at trivia, so we'll see how this goes, but I'm going to start this off with Mark Stone.
Mark Stone is on that list. He had 5.
Milan McCulloch.
No, love the gumption of that one. Milan McCulloch had no more than 1.
Matt Duchene?
Matt Duchene, don't think he was here long enough.
He was on a
valid guess.
Big point per game pace, though, when he was here.
1.
1? Damn.
Yes, tied with Jared Cowan and Bobby Butler.
Zinger? Ryan DeZingle?
You're going hipster on me, Pilsy. Ryan DeZingle. He is not here. He's not here.
Oh,
Pajot. He's got 2.
Pajot
and DeZingle both have 2.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you're really having trouble. So 7, 2 guys have 6, and 2 guys have 5. You already have Mark Stone. You're running out of time here.
I'm stuck.
Tied with Mark Stone, I'm surprised you didn't get this one, is Kyle Turris with 5.
Yeah, I should have got that one.
Also has the most overtime goals in playoff history
yeah.
For the Ottawa Senators. Mike Hoffman has 6.
Yep.
So does Erik Karlsson. Pretty impressive for a defenseman. 6 OT game winners. And number 1, Mike Fisher.
Wow.
Number 1, Mike Fisher with 7. So
I never
there you
would have
have
guessed
it.
that. Wow.
Brady Tkachuk, the fewest amount of games. He is tied with Daniel Alfredson, who played 1,178 games, Brady at 217. Chris Phillips is at 1,179, and he has 3 himself. But he also has a couple huge ones in the playoffs. He would always score big goals in milestone games, I remember, about Chris Phillips. Okay, Pierre Dorion. This is going to be crucial to get into. Not that he really shocked the world with anything that he said,
No.
but the fact that he talked is newsworthy in itself. He walked back the rebuild is over statement, which we knew he would. Anything else you found interesting? I guess his side of the Matt Murray equation?
I found that very interesting, Ross, especially because, speaking of Pierre Dorion walking things back, he was saying in the Mendez article, at least is what I read, and Dorion was saying, I don't fully believe that when Matt Murray says it was a quick phone call, we must have spoken to him for about 4 to 5 minutes about this. Like,
yes.
As if that's a save. Like, whoa. We had a full conversation. It was between 4 and 5 minutes talking about what we were going to do. Sick backtrack there, Pierre. I don't know if that really, that doesn't really cut it for me, a 4 to 5 minute conversation with how you're going to deal with your goalie who makes over $6 million being sent down to the minors.
Yeah, interesting stuff there. He did, however, follow up saying that he and Matt Murray spoke on Friday, so that would have been after the Matt Murray quotes came out. Matt Murray himself played in Belleville, 30 saves, 33 shots. Belleville lost to the Manitoba Moose in back-to-back games. The matinee on Sunday, they were shut out 2-0 in that one. This is a good Manitoba team, no question. Well coached, well constructed defensively, and they showed it. Right?
Look at the homer over here.
No chance.
Wow.
Like you see the talent, and obviously Cole Perfetti's a guy who's already playing for them as well. But like Belleville, I'm trying more so just giving Belleville an out because Belleville scored 1 goal in 2 games.
Yeah, and speaking of Belleville, another concerning thing. How about Pontus Aberg going back to Europe? Like,
yeah, I saw that.
I mean, obviously, like that's a very, very minor thing for this franchise, but still a little concerning when you can't even hold on to your AHL guys. And he was doing a decent job there in Belleville. So maybe he just got an offer he couldn't refuse out there and he kind of forced the Sens' hands. Or it was another situation where the Sens just kind of mismanaged him and he wasn't happy with how things went about.
Yeah, he's also a single father as well. I think there's a feature done on him a little while ago. Okay. So I don't know if it's family circumstances or whatever. We won't speculate on it, but just mentioning that it could be a variety of different reasons for Pontus Aberg to go back. He only had 2 goals, but he was 3rd on the team in points. So you got to think that that's strange in that sense, but not really, because when the Senders had all their COVID situations, he was never really on the board for a call-up. And this is like a tweener that had played on competitive teams the last few years and played NHL games there. So I can see from his standpoint maybe not being too thrilled when it comes to that. So yeah, Pontus Aberg's back. Belleville drops 2 games. So that 5 out of 7 was nice, but 5 out of 9 doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
No, it really doesn't. And like, obviously it's disappointing when you see Matt Murray go down there and lose, but like you said, Manitoba's a good team. It's not like they got blown out and no goal support all weekend. So really, it's 1 game. Let's see how things move along here. And hopefully Matt Murray can get a W in his next game.
Won't be playing tonight for Ottawa as the Senators are just taking the ice. We're going to leave you with another tease. Pilsy, Is it Forsberg's net or do they go back to Philip Gustafson? The Sens begin back-to-back games tonight at New Jersey, home tomorrow against a New York Islanders team that hasn't won since I was at the game in Winnipeg on November 6th. It's been a month. They're 0-8-2. 0-8-3 because they lost in a shootout last night. 0-8-3. So which goalie do you put against which team? The Senators stepping on the ice for morning skate right now. Pilsy, why don't you hit us with an ad from one of your favorite sponsors, because I know you love BetOnline.
Oh, yeah. I love BetOnline.ag, and apparently I love giving them parlay money as well. But just like the Senators' fortunes have changed, I think if there's hope for the Ottawa Senators, then there's hope for Pilsy's parlay of the day. And I've got an interesting one here. I'm going kind of with off-ice things in my parlay. But before we get to that, let me tell you all about why I love BetOnline.ag. They are the trusted sportsbook for the Locked On Podcast Network. And since you guys are loyal listeners of the Locked On Senators podcast, we're going to hook you up with the promo code. So go today online, sign up at BetOnline.ag, make an account for free, and use promo code Locked On. And what that's going to do is going to give you a 50% welcome bonus. So you put $100 in, bingo, bango, bongo, you get $50 in free play money. But with free play money, you got to earn it. You got to win it to earn it. Sorry. And how are you going to do that? Well, you can fade or follow Pillsy's parlay. I think I might be onto something here, Ross, and you can tell me if you think I'm crazy or not, but here we go. Pillsy's parlay of the day. The Philadelphia Flyers just like literally this morning, if I'm not mistaken, fired Alain Vigneault. So we got new coach energy here. And we all saw what the Colorado Avalanche are up against when they're using their third and fourth string goalies. So I think new coach energy and up against poor goaltending, I think the Flyers have a chance here, and they need it badly because Tampa absolutely embarrassed them. So this is a team where players are playing for pride here, and they want to help out their new interim coach, Mike Yeo, get a win here. Vancouver Canucks, same scenario. They just fired their coach here. They're up against LA Kings, Pacific Division rival. They want to get a new win for their new coach, and players are playing for pride here. So we're going with the interim coach parlay. Philadelphia Flyers money line, Vancouver Canucks money line. Put $10 in. You're going to win $32.25, and that is Pillsy's parlay of the day. It's BetOnline.ag. Get off the sidelines and get into the action.
And while you're taking a look at what you want to wager, check out Built Bar on the internet for the best protein bar in the business. Tastes like a candy bar, literally. They come in so many different amazing flavors. If you like chocolate, you'll like Built Bar. That's because all 16 amazing flavors are covered with 100% chocolate that are soft and easy to chew. Built Bars are great for the health-conscious guy or girl as well, because you can lose or maintain weight while indulging in a delicious treat. The bars are low in calorie, low in sugar, but they're high in protein and high in fiber. So go check them out for yourself right now. Built.com, promo code LOCK15 gets you 15% off your next order. Built Bar is a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. Go to BuiltBar.com right now and use promo code LOCKed15 and you'll get 15% off your next order. All right, Pillsy. It's a Senators game day. And dare I say, I'm fired up for it. 2 wins in the last 2 games, and now they head in to New Jersey, a team I got to see up close and personal on Friday. They lost 8-4 here in Winnipeg, a game that got out of hand largely in part of Jonathan Bernier in goal, let a few squeakers in. Winnipeg's on a bit of a roll, though, right now after beating up on Toronto last night, too. But that being said, I think this is a very winnable game for the Ottawa Senators, who I'll let you guess, actually, because there is a goalie in the starter's end. You think it's Anton Forsberg or Philip Gustafsson?
Well, normally I would guess and be wrong here, Ross, but I will be honorable, and I know that it's Forsberg, so I'm going to go with Forsberg on this one.
And as we're pulling up on YouTube, no lineup changes, except on the back end. Dylan Hetherington, who's a bit surprisingly called up and played ahead of both Del Zotto and Mete in Saturday's win. He was -2 in 12 minutes. I still liked his box-out game. But maybe because Colorado's a bit of a heavier team. That's why they try to get him in there. Mete back in the lineup, playing alongside Lassie Thompson. I'm going bottom up on the D-Corps today. So Mete, Thompson, Holden, Zub, and Shabbat remaining with Zaitsev. Shabbat's just been playing some unbelievable hockey right now. Up front, Norris between Kachuk and Batherson. Stützle in the middle between Nick Paul and Connor Brown. Third line sees Tierney, Formanton, and Ennis. And the fourth line, Gambrell, Sanford, and Watson, which leaves Hetherington, Del Zotto, and Adam Gaudette as the 3 scratches. That Gaudette was a quick tryout, hey?
Yeah, I can't believe he hasn't gotten another sniff here, but I think Gambrell's improved play lately has kind of caused that. Like, he's been playing much better, so that's good. A couple things with this lineup. First off, we love Nick Paul, but I want to see Sanford and Paul switched here. I want Sanford, Stützle, Brown, because I think that's a more kind of favorable matchup up against other teams' second lines. Sanford's been good, and like, let's not have Nick Paul pulling down Stützle offensively. Like, I want someone that can play that style of game, but can also chip in. So I think Sanford is the perfect replacement. And then with Paul on that, don't call it the fourth line, that's a perfect shutdown line. Don't you think?
That is.
Paul, Gambrell, and Watson, like, I would be confident in that line shutting down other teams' top sixes. Like, not in a game spread, like full, but in big moments, I'm confident that they could shut them down. So that's a move I would like to see. And then I've made my opinions on Mete pretty clear here. There's nothing that him coming into the game really excites me or makes me think, okay, now that Mete's in, this can happen or this will happen or it'll help Thompson in this area. Not really for me. Honestly, I'd rather Hetherington on that spot because him and Thompson have some chemistry. They've played a bunch together up in the NHL and down in the AHL. And honestly, I would even take Del Zotto in that spot over Mete at this point because at least Del Zotto's chipping in offensively. I mean, Mete has a couple assists here, but Del Zotto's able to kind of push the offense a little bit more, and that kind of complements Lassie Thompson's game in a third pair kind of style role there. So those are some changes I would have liked to see, and I don't know, how do you feel about Forsberg playing this game? I don't think, for me, it's not too much of a difference either way here.
No, me neither. Now, Forsberg, he did make some great saves, especially early on in that game against Colorado. The end numbers don't look great, 5 goals on 31 shots, but he was obviously outstanding against Carolina and still made key saves. Like when they were up 5-3 against Colorado, he had a breakaway save on Logan O'Connor that really, if that goes in, momentum swings all the way on Colorado's side. And hey, they maybe even Sens lose that in regulation. So I think that maybe you go to Forsberg, you say, hey, which one do you want here? And that's the case.
Keep the hot hand going. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, which, I mean, we'll see. 2 straight wins, and he's been in goal for both of them. So why touch a good thing? Meanwhile, when you mentioned Dylan Hetherington, reports are he's not on the ice for morning skate. So we'll see whether he was sent back to Belleville or if he's got some bumps and bruises and unable to go tonight. So all that to say, if you want more information on tonight's game leading up to puck drop, you can follow us on Twitter at Sens Central, or you can check the show out on YouTube. Please subscribe there, and we'll chat in the postcast. But first, Pilsy, your locked on player to watch.
My locked on player to watch is going to be Lassie Thompson here. I mean, he's played well, but I can't stop replaying that Alex Newhook goal in my mind, Ross. Like, I don't know what he's thinking on that play because I've watched it so many times, and what he tries to do is his stick is on the opposite side of where Newhook is stick handling, and then he tries to stretch his leg out to try to block him with his leg, and he ends up doing kind of the splits and just widening himself, and then he's basically a pylon on that point, and Newhook gets by him. So I want to see. Sure, Lassie Thompson has proved he can play at the NHL level, but he can't have glaring mistakes like that if he's going to last here. And I'm nitpicking here. Like, that was 1 goal, and he's a young defenseman who's put in a tough spot here playing NHL minutes so early in his career. So I want to see him just play a solid game, but not let any of those big mistakes happen.
It's going to be tougher for him tonight, playing alongside Victor Mete, a guy who likes to, I'd say, take a couple more chances even in his own zone, going up against a guy who maybe Lassie replaced in terms of the depth chart at the start of the year, Christian Jaros. They showed on 1200 a few of the boys talking to him. He's only gotten into 2 games this year. I believe he'll be a healthy scratch once again for the Devils. My locked-on player, it's too easy. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It's Tim Stützle. Like 2 goals. He's really starting to feel it offensively. How high can his ceiling rise? That's what I want to know. I want to see some Lucas Raymond-like consistent production from a young Timmy superstar. And I think he's got it in him, but now it's time to show it. And wouldn't it be nice? Imagine these are 2 winnable games here. Say what you want about the Saturday game up against the Tampa Bay Lightning. But right now, you've got a chance. You win these 2, you're on a 4-game heater. And then things can just start feeling good. Senators no longer, at least for now, in last place in the National Hockey League, jumping over the Arizona Coyotes and with 2 games in hand. Huge. Now,
I'll move on to my locked on player here, Ross. And
your lookout.
Lookout. I always mix those up. We got to work on that, or I do at least. Look out player. And this is a guy that Sens fans will know well. Used to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that's Andreas Janssen. And sure, maybe he's not a guy that pops out of the page on you, but this New Jersey Devils, they don't really have any game breakers. So he's been given a much better opportunity here to play in a top 6 role than he ever was afforded in Toronto. And he's done pretty well here. Now, his last couple games, the Devils have lost big time up against Winnipeg and Minnesota, and they lost big time up against San Jose. But before the Winnipeg-Minnesota games, Ross, in San Jose, Philly, and Nashville, he had 7 points in 3 games. So like this kid, he's been able to light it up when he's given the chance, and he's on their second power play unit. His shooting success percentage is much over 20%. I think it's at like 23%. So if he's in the right place at the right time, he's shown he can get it done. So that's a guy I'm going to be looking out for because he's one of the better offensive threats on this Devils team.
Yeah, for me, it's Nico Hischier, 200-foot centerman. I really like watching his game. Former Halifax Moosehead, first overall pick in the 2017 draft. And man, he's not exceptional at anything, but he's good at everything. So
Five-tool player, yeah.
Exactly. He was the youngest captain in NHL at the moment until Brady was named captain, as he's been wearing the C there for 2 years. Of course, he had so much depth down the middle with Jack Hughes, and Dawson Mercer's another guy I'm going to keep my eye on. Back-to-back games against Newfoundlanders after Alex Newhook and the Colorado Avalanche. Now you got Dawson Mercer, who started for Team Canada at the World Juniors. He was a first-round pick in 2020. And then on the back end, Ryan Graves, who Gord Wilson reported the Sens thought they had him this summer.
I would have loved that. Oh my God.
Yeah. Imagine him with Lassie Thompson on the left side. Although you probably find a role for him in the top 4. But that being said, I think that he's a guy who can play up and down the lineup. PK Subban, watch out when he's skating up behind you. Yeah, that's tough. The one in Winnipeg happened right in front of me. I was like, come on, man. Again, he's been fined 3 times this year for slew foot situations. Not sure who's starting in goal, whether it's Mackenzie Blackwood or Jonathan Bernier. But if you're the Ottawa Senators, just keep the good times rolling. How's that for a key to victory, Pillsy?
Hey, I love it. And I'll dive into one a little bit more here. The New Jersey Devils power play is one of the worst in the league. In fact, only Arizona has a worse power play than them. They're clicking at just around 13%. So, and like I talked about, this team doesn't really have any game breakers. Sure, Nico Hischier, incredible player, but he's not an offensive game breaker. He's not going to finish anything.
Yet, at least.
Yeah, yet. But I don't project him as a game breaker. Like he's a very good all-around centerman, but he's not a guy that you're necessarily nervous about in game planning around. So maybe I think Jack Hughes has a better chance of becoming that guy. So on this power play, you should be able to shut them down. Like their power play is very similar to just their top 6 lines because they don't have a lot of like high-end power here. They have a lot of depth. So don't let that power play embarrass you. Don't let it be a reason why you lose this game. Penalty killers, this is your game to make a statement and shut the door on special teams. So that's my key to the game is have a solid, strong penalty kill here.
Well, that would be nice because they've given up power play goals now in a few straight games, including a very untimely one, will we say, against Colorado the other night when Landeskog got the one right, because you're hoping you score those 2 quick goals and the crowd's still going crazy from announcing the first one, and then Landeskog scored 3 minutes after Austin Watson. And I mean, other than that, though, it was pretty solid. They've been doing it because that trip, that we don't have to get into, that trip on Formanton in the third period where he just literally hit the guy through his chest on the boards. That was an absolutely brutal call. So you knew the Sens were going to kill that off for me in the box. But Ottawa's just done a great job at staying out of the penalty box. So you can't score on the power play if you don't get power plays. How's that for the Senators' motto to be going into tonight's game is don't take penalties, and you won't have to worry about a New Jersey power play. Going to be a fun game tonight, especially with a win streak on the line. We hope you can join us for the postcast following a 7 o'clock Eastern start against the New Jersey Devils. But for today, we say goodbye. Thanks for listening to Locked On Senators. For Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, where we've got your team every day.